what we're going to do is we're going to wrap up with two lightning rounds. And by lightning round, I mean, 20-second comment from each. For the first lightning round is, and we'll ask everybody to make this suggestion. What's a tip, especially for new ModPo people, for navigating or exploring the ModPo site? It could be a technical thing about how to, cut a corner, a hack. Could also be a suggestion about something that they may not know exists. Okay, so I'm going to start with Lily, and we'll go around. Lily, quick suggestion.
Okay, the search bar in the discussion forum is your friend. So if you are reading something and you're like, I really want to talk about this particular word from the poem or a topic, try putting it in the search bar and seeing if you can get connected really fast with a forum or with a thread where someone's already talking about that topic. It'll just make your life a lot easier.
Great. And the search function has improved over the years. So it works pretty well. And if you know the phrase, put it in quotation marks and you'll really get a result. Allie Castleman.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't feel confined to like the order of the syllabus every week. I would say one way to get a lot out of the course is to like let a splinter swerve in your own exploration. So if you find yourself really like attracted to like a particular piece and you want to go more into like ModPo Plus to see like what else is like very closely adjacent there. Don't worry about any sort of like linearity really from week to week, because all these things are so connected, and just kind of, go with your own flow of interest.
Fantastic. Jess.
Yeah, the course is still new to me. So in terms of navigating the site, I don't have expertise, but what I will say is that one of the great things about ModPo for me is that if there's a poem that I'm like, I don't have a way into this poem, how do I get into it? You can be assured that there is someone somewhere on the forum saying someone's going to have a way in. And I think having access to all of these ideas, perspectives that you might not have thought of otherwise is a great thing. So just there's reason to be heartened, I think, by that.
Great, thank you. Max McKenna.
Take advantage of our office hours. We all have weekly office hours. Stop by. We're happy to answer any kind of question on any subject most of the time. So if you're lost, if you need a way in, just find us there.
Fantastic. Thank you. Erica Kaufman.
I was going to also echo office hours. I think they're super helpful. And if you're in the discussion forums, I always find the sorting function, so you can just make sure that the conversations that are the most recent are at the top. That always helps me.
Fantastic. Gabe?
Yeah, I was going to say one of the many heads of this Hydra is the audio files that we have of people reading the poems. And sometimes it's a nice and appealing way of getting into a week's material is to just like look for those listen. It says like reading : listen usually. Looking for those can sometimes give you a flavor of a week in a way that doesn't take a lot of work. You can do other stuff while you're listening to them. And if you want to just kind of live with that for a little bit, we also, a lot of the people in this group, especially Chris and Zach and Al, work really hard on pen sound, which you can Google. And if you have an author who we would have recordings of, so not really like Dickinson, you can find more recordings by that person reading their work. And that's just such a great archive.
Fantastic. Dave Poplar.
Short comments are fine in discussion forums. Don't feel pressure to compose an essay with a middle or an end or multiple points. If you come up with a connection, something that seems interesting, or a question about a poem, just post it. Get involved, jump in. It doesn't have to be an essay. It could be anything.
Hey, Dave, a follow-up on that. A lot of people say, well, I did ModPo, but I never posted because I was always so nervous about that. Everybody seemed to know everything. And and I'm a little shy, what would you say? I mean, obviously people can do the course without using the discussion forums, but what would you say to encourage people?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sympathetic to that. I mean, I think everybody has that. I mean, sitting around the table recording the videos with everybody else, I was very conscious of everybody saying really smart things, but everybody has something different to add, and you, because it's your own comment, don't realize how interesting it will be for everybody else. But just share it, and it will be enlightening for so many people. I can almost promise you that.
Great. Jason, before you offer your hack, in the Twitter feed, Sanjeev posted the text to Canto 33 of Song of Myself, which is what you were reading from. And Ray Maxwell contributed the documentation confirmation that Walt Whitman was running a station on the on the Underground Railroad, which, you know,
I'm
obviously.
running a station on the Undergraduate Railroad.
Yeah.
But that no, I think that's really important to remember about Whitman is his that very fact of
Yeah.
how he was not just writing and establishing a career, but actively helping people seeking freedom.
Yep. Your recommendation for getting through navigating ModPo?
My recommendation is to definitely, like everyone else has said, go to office hours, and also to not worry at all about being right. Each of us, most of us have been here for years and years, and I don't think anything I've ever said has been right. So, but I keep saying things.
I love that.
Thank you. It's kind of like the course depends on the making your own language available, because you have no idea of what I'm echoing what has already been said. You have no idea of what like billiard ball impact it's going to have on someone else's thinking. Even if it seems absurd to you, just get it out there, put it outside of your brain,
I love that approach.
Put it out.
That's a beautiful approach, totally. Ambrose Johnson, is there a technique, a navigation hint, a hack, suggestion?
Yeah, two really quick things. The first, just to add to Jason, sorry about the construction. I don't know if you can hear it.
We can't hear it. No, it's fine.
Okay, cool. So to add to Jason, not just don't worry about being right, but also I want to add, don't worry about being prepared. Because I think those things go hand in hand, and sometimes feeling like you're not prepared can produce the feeling of not being right. But be reminded that you showing up, whether that be showing up to the webcast or showing up in the forums or showing up in discussion some other way, with just your lived experience is truly all the preparation you need to be able to close read a poem and talk to folks about it. So that, and then the other thing really quickly is, because ModPo can feel so big, it can be a little intimidating, but once you start posting, that's like you carving out a little pathway, and then you'll be able to start having interactions, and it'll start to feel smaller kind of around you and your experience. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, actually the best way to get rid of that feeling is to jump in with a post and shrink the size down to a conversation that'll become just you and some other people.
Great suggestion. Thank you. These are all great suggestions. Davey?
Something I love about ModPo is that it's a community of teachers, that so many people have an informal or formal relationship to education, which is to say that when you're in the process of, as Ambrose was describing, shrinking your experience of the course down, you're surrounded by teachers to whom you can ask questions. And ModPo folks are generally very, very helpful and generous. And so if there's stuff you're confused about, feel free to ask anybody. There's more than 100 CTAs. There's the teaching staff. There are many folks who've been in the course for 8 or 9 years, and they all just want folks to feel comfortable. And like, that's what we all want from the course, is a space where people are like nice to each other and help each other think. And so feel free to ask anything. Also feel free to do 10 minutes. Feel free to read one poem. Don't feel like you have to do any particular amount, but feel free to like drop in for a minute. And as Ambrose is saying, find your way through the material. As Gabe is saying, start by listening to the material. And finally, don't feel like you have to agree with us. Feel free to push us on things. Feel free to say no to some things we say in the videos. Feel free to offer other readings. We are offering one way into the poems in our conversations, and we disagree with ourselves, as Anna was saying, and we invite you to come disagree with us. That's a really wonderful way to have a conversation.
Yeah, we can take it too. We want that. Anna, advice, navigation, hack?
We have a handy FAQ and audio guide that's accessible if you go to resources on the left-hand menu and scroll to FAQ and audio guide. That answers a lot of the most often asked questions. But if you are still stuck and still curious and still, or just want to reach out, you can email us at modpo, MODPO, at writing.upenn.edu.